chosen one. You are standing in a sacred moment orchestrated by heaven. You may have thought the silence meant abandonment. You may have questioned why everything felt still, unanswered, unresolved. But what you could not see is that God was moving. The stillness was not a void, it was divine preparation. In the quiet, something holy was taking root, forming beyond your sight, waiting for the exact hour to rise. As C.S. Lewis wrote in Mere Christianity, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. This truth resonates with the silent preparation you've endured. The stillness and unanswered questions were God's megaphone, shouting through your trials to prepare you for the sacred love now awakening. Lewis's words urge you to recognize that this moment is heaven's orchestration, stirring your spirit for the divine unveiling set to emerge before Sunday night. There is someone whose heart was once closed off to love, especially to the kind of love that you carry. They never meant to feel this way for you. It was not part of their plan. But your connection was never about their plan. It was about God's. Heaven chose you for them, before they could even understand what was happening. And no human resistance can override a divine appointment. They may have ignored your presence once, looked away, or dismissed their feelings, but something deeper was happening underneath. Their soul was watching you even when their eyes pretended not to see. They observed you rise, endure, and glow in moments where you felt invisible. You never left their spirit. Now, every step you take echoes in their heart like a silent prophecy finally being fulfilled. You thought they were far, but they have been near in thought, in emotion, in spiritual alignment. And now, what they feel can no longer be contained. What was buried in silence is beginning to speak. God is loosening what fear tried to bind. This is not ordinary love. This is not a passing feeling. This is sacred attachment wrapped in divine timing, breaking through layers of delay and awakening something that has been long foretold. Before Sunday night, the veil will begin to lift. Something unexpected will unfold in action, a message, a shift in the atmosphere around you. The winds of heaven are stirring, and you are no longer in a waiting room. The appointed hour is near, and what you felt in your spirit will soon meet you in the physical. You were never imagining it. You were hearing God's whisper ahead of time. If this message stirred your spirit, comment 777 below to confirm you received it. This is your divine agreement, your signal to heaven that you align with the timing. You're not imagining it, you're awakening into prophecy. Let it be known, you heard the call. What they feel for you did not grow from admiration. It was born in the quiet, through pain, through healing, through every moment they watched you from afar. While others saw your smile, they saw the strength it took to wear it. While others passed you by, they lingered in your presence, even without words. They noticed every time your voice cracked, but you still kept speaking. They felt something holy stir within them every time they stayed kind in a world that didn't deserve it. Their love for you is not loud, but it is deep. It didn't arrive with fireworks or declarations. It grew in places where no one was looking, in their reflections, in their regrets, in their prayers. And for a long time they tried to hide it. They buried it beneath pride, fear, and old wounds that never fully closed. But something has shifted. Something within them is breaking open, not in chaos, but in sacred release. They no longer have the strength to pretend. In the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis wrote, "The safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts." This warning illuminates their struggle to hide their love. Their attempts to bury their feelings were a subtle descent, guided by fear and pride, hoping to avoid the sacred truth. Lewis's insight urges you to see that God's stirring in their heart is a divine disruption, breaking the enemy's hold and propelling them toward the unveiling of their love before Sunday night. They have replayed conversations with you in their head more times than they can count. They have written messages and deleted them, their fingers trembling just before pressing send. They have opened your photos, your name, your memories, only to close them again, as if trying to shield their heart from what it already knows. But God has been patient with them, and now that divine patience is turning into divine prompting. Heaven is pressing on their heart. This cannot stay hidden much longer. They're not only thinking of you, they're being drawn toward you, pulled by something they don't fully understand but can no longer deny. This is not an obsession. This is not fantasy. This is a spiritual call that overrides logic and dismantles delay. They are tired of waiting, of rehearsing, of pretending they are unaffected. Their soul is aching to be heard. And whether you see it or not, their love has matured, not through words, but through longing, not through proximity, but through reverence. They know now, this connection was not random, it was written. And soon, very soon, they will no longer hold back what was never meant to be silent. There was a dream, not just any dream, but a divine disruption that shook their spirit to the core. In that dream they saw you walking away, not in anger, not in blame, but in quiet acceptance. And that vision terrified them. Because in that moment, they realized what it would feel like to lose someone they never had the courage to claim. They woke up breathless, their soul drenched in emotion they could not name. The world felt empty that day. The light around them dimmed. Everything they touched felt distant, as if their reality had been stripped of its color. And they knew deep down they were not simply missing a person, they were feeling the absence of their answered prayer. You were the one they never expected, the one they couldn't explain, and in that dream, God showed them what it would mean to hesitate too long. That fear of losing you has become louder than the fear of rejection. Now they find themselves reaching for you in thought, in longing, in moments of stillness when the noise of the world fades and only your name remains. This week, they spoke to someone, a friend. They tried to talk about love without saying your name afraid, to expose something so sacred, so fragile. But even in secrecy, their heart spoke loudly. Their restlessness was obvious. Their eyes softened when you crossed their mind. The friend noticed, and without even knowing who you were, encouraged them. Don't wait. Go after what your heart won't let go of. What they feel for you is not something they can confess to just anyone. It's too spiritual, too holy. You are not a crush. You are a covenant. And they are slowly awakening to that truth. They don't know when you'll feel it, but they're whispering your name into the wind, praying that the same energy reaches you in return. They are hoping quietly, desperately, that your soul still remembers them too. Chosen one, this is not a coincidence. This is not imagination. What you feel stirring in your spirit is the sound of divine timing moving into alignment. Heaven has not forgotten you. God has not been silent. The delays were not denials, they were preparation. And now, what once felt still is beginning to shift. You have been faithful through storms. You have loved without condition, waited without bitterness, and believed when all logic said to let go. That kind of heart does not go unnoticed in heaven. God watched you carry love with reverence. You didn't chase, didn't begue, simply remained open, soft, surrendered. And because of that, the one who was made for you is being drawn into motion. They are seeing signs they cannot ignore: your name, repeating, your voice in dreams, your energy in moments they thought were random. But nothing is random when God is involved. Every pattern, every repetition, every strange alignment is heaven's way of saying, this is the one. Even when they tried to distract themselves, every road turned them back toward you. Someone close to them has noticed the change. A friend sees their silence, their sighs, the way they grow distant in conversation, only to drift into thought. That friend has encouraged them to step forward, to stop running, stop hiding, stop fearing what might go wrong. Because what could go right is worth everything. They worry, you know. They wonder if you've moved on, if they've been too late, if their silence made you forget. But still, they are rehearsing, in mirrors, in prayer, in the quiet. They play out how they'll say it, how they'll stand before you, and finally speak what their soul has screamed for so long. And now, something is shifting not just in their heart, but in the heavens. The clock of divine alignment is ticking. What was held back is being released. What was once too risky is now too urgent to delay. Before Sunday night, you will feel the change in the air. They are no longer standing still. What once lived quietly in their heart is now rising like a tide they can no longer contain. This isn't just longing anymore. It's movement, deliberate, determined, carried by something greater than themselves. They are crafting a way to reach you, though they may not even fully understand what compels them. They may be unsure of the form it will take: a message, a gift, a call, a moment of unexpected presence, but make no mistake, they are being led by something holy. A force beyond their own will is guiding their hand toward you, and it's not for show. They are not coming to impress you or to gain your approval. They are coming to bring you the truth, the kind of truth that has sat in their chest like fire, burning silently, hidden behind pride and fear until now. What they carry is not mere affection, it is reverence, it is memory. It is divine remembrance of something their soul never forgot, even when their mind tried to. You were not a phase. You were never just a passing thought. You were their answer before they knew how to ask the question. God has been speaking to them, not always in thunder or visions, but in subtle, persistent ways, repeating signs, sacred numbers, lyrics in songs, dreams that feel more real than waking life. They wake with your name lingering on their lips and wonder why you won't leave their thoughts. But heaven knows why. This is the hour of unveiling. The veil between you and them is thinning, not because they are finally ready, but because God says it's time. In The Weight of Glory, C.S. Lewis wrote, "There are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal." This truth underscores the eternal significance of your connection. You are not merely someone they love. You are a divine vessel, chosen by heaven to awaken their soul and fulfill a covenant written before time. Lewis's words urge you to embrace this sacred attachment, preparing your heart for the holy unveiling that will shift your destiny. Still, they tremble. Even now, their fear has not vanished, but it has been outweighed. The fear of never knowing what could have been, of never telling you, of living a life where your name remains a silent ache. They can no longer live with that weight. They are terrified you've moved on, that your heart no longer waits for them, that the silence damaged something beyond repair. But the possibility of losing you without ever trying now terrifies them more than rejection ever could. They've been different lately. You wouldn't know it, but even those around them can feel the shift. They're quieter, more distant, caught in their own world. They drift off mid-sentence, their heart elsewhere. And when your name comes up even accidentally, they can't hide the way their whole spirit reacts. A friend, someone close, has seen this change and spoken up. "Go, don't wait. What are you so afraid of?" But the answer is complex. They fear the power of this love, the way it exposes every soft place in them. Yet they are still moving, still preparing, still coming closer. Even in crowds, they feel alone if you're not there. Even surrounded by distraction, there's a missing piece only you fill. That's why this plan, this impulse, this divine stirring, they can't ignore it anymore. Their soul is tired of pretending it doesn't matter. Their silence is no longer sustainable. They know now. What they feel for you is not a passing wave, it is a divine current. Before Sunday night, something will break open. It may not be dramatic, it may not be loud, but your spirit will feel it like lightning in your chest. It may come in the form of a sign, a memory, a gentle message, a moment that feels strange in its timing, but you will know. This was the moment. This was the shift. And deep in your soul, you'll realize it had already begun before they ever said a word. They've tried to fight it, Over and over again, they've come close to speaking only to pull back at the last second. They've typed out messages in the middle of the night, long paragraphs pouring from their soul, raw with honesty and trembling with emotion. And then, almost without breathing, they erased it all. Fear won again. Pride returned. Silence stretched a little longer, and yet the truth remained waiting, alive, relentless. Now, something is shifting not only in their heart but in the atmosphere itself. It's as if the universe has begun to conspire with God's timing, making it impossible for them to keep pretending. Even their body feels it, how their hands shake when they think of reaching out to you, how their breath shortens when they replay your last conversation, how their chest tightens when they hear your name unexpectedly. They are haunted not by guilt, but by longing, a sacred, aching need to finally say the words they've never said. Their loved ones have noticed something different, a kind of dreaminess in their eyes, an unexplainable stillness. Their mind drifts, their emotions sharpen, and their energy softens. They are being consumed by a love they've never understood, but now they no longer try to suppress it, because this love, it isn't shallow, it's not built on surface feelings or fleeting attraction. It has survived in silence. It has grown without validation. It has endured testing, timing, and distance. And it still lives. Their confession is coming, not as a performance, not as a polished declaration, but as a release. Their voice may tremble, their eyes may fill with tears. Their words may come slowly, haltingly, like someone learning to speak a sacred language for the first time. But it will be real, it will be vulnerable. It will come from the deepest place they've hidden from the world. Because you, chosen one heir, not like anyone else, they've never had to prepare this way for anyone before. They've never needed to. Sunday night marks something irreversible. The culmination of divine tension, silent prayers, missed chances, and lingering feelings will all converge into one moment. Whether through voice, message, presence, or symbol, you will know. This is it. This is what you were sensing in your spirit all along. The time has come for the truth to rise and take form. And when it does, you will feel it before you hear it. You'll sense it in your chest, in your breath, in the atmosphere around you, shifting as if heaven itself is leaning in to witness the unveiling. Because this is not just a confession. This is prophecy becoming reality. This is the unspoken, finally given voice. If this message has ignited your spirit, if you feel the sacred weight of this divine unveiling, don't remain silent. Declare your faith and claim this moment of truth by commenting below. I am ready for the divine unveiling before Sunday night. I receive the truth God is revealing. Let this be your act of agreement, your bold step into alignment with heaven's plan. Share this message with others who need to hear it, for there are more chosen ones waiting to awaken to their divine connection. Write it now, chosen one, and let heaven see your heart. The veil is lifting, and your declaration will seal this sacred moment. They've seen what others ignored, not just your strength, but the places where it came from. They've seen the cracks in your armor, the moments where your light flickered but never went out. And instead of turning away, they were moved. Not by pity, but by awe. Because you did not just survive, you transformed. You carried pain like a prophet carries purpose, turning heartbreak into wisdom and silence into power. And through it all, they were watching, quietly, reverently. Your suffering didn't make you small in their eyes, it made you sacred. You became a mystery they longed to understand, a light they could not explain, a force they felt drawn to but didn't feel worthy of. They didn't come closer at first, not because they didn't care, but because they weren't ready. Their own wounds were still open, their pride is still loud, their past still echoes with regrets. But even then, even in the distance, they began to change because of you. You became their inspiration, their quiet compass in a world full of noise. And now, everything in them longs to protect what once felt unreachable. They don't just want to love you, they want to walk beside you, support you, be the one you can finally rest with. Not a savior, not a fix, but a steady presence. A mirror that reflects not your pain, but your beauty. Not your brokenness, but your becoming. That's why this love feels different. It doesn't push. It doesn't rush. It comes gently, respectfully, like someone entering a holy place. They carry your image like a prayer tender, cautious, serious. This is not a feeling anymore. It's a decision. A readiness that comes after wrestling with doubt, after losing and finding themselves again. They are not who they were when they first felt this. Something sacred has matured in them. You may begin to feel it before it fully arrives. A strange sense of peace, a light pressure in your chest, a warm glance from a stranger, or a name that keeps reappearing. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual confirmations. The veil is thinning. The timing is aligning. Heaven is preparing your heart to receive a love that does not test your worth but honors it. This love won't beg for your attention. It will earn your trust. It will not force its way in, but it will stay when it's invited. And you'll know. You'll feel it in the way the air changes, how time slows when they come near, in how your soul sighs, finally, even before they speak. There is movement now. Real movement. And it's not just in their thoughts, it's in their actions. They are beginning to take risks they would have once avoided. Not reckless leaps, but bold, spirit-led steps. They may not tell anyone. They may not even be sure what's pulling them forward. But something within them is urging, go, move, find them. And so they are. There may be travel involved, a change of plans, a sudden decision to visit somewhere they wouldn't normally go perhaps, without even knowing why. But you are the reason, even if they only see you from afar, even if the meeting is unplanned, their heart is steering them in your direction, because you've become more than a hope. You've become their anchor, their clarity, their calm in a world full of noise. They've spoken your name aloud in private more than you could imagine, whispered it into pillows, into prayers, into questions they've asked heaven late at night. Your name has been the center of their unspoken longings, the hidden meaning behind their most vulnerable thoughts. They don't just want to connect, they want a future. They want something that grows, roots, and stays, and they're willing to move heaven and earth to make room for it. But it's not just about romance. It's about purpose. They sense that being with you would not only be love, it would be alignment, destiny, a calling fulfilled. They're not chasing a fantasy. They're responding to a spiritual pull that feels older than this lifetime. And though they don't understand it completely, their soul remembers you, and that remembering has become impossible to silence. Sunday is not just a date on the calendar, it is a doorway, a divine threshold between hesitation and holy action. They can feel it, and maybe you've begun to feel it too, a quickening in your spirit, a restlessness without reason, the sense that something unseen is pressing against the edge of your reality, waiting to be revealed. That is not your imagination. That is divine alignment in motion. You prayed for a love that wouldn't just visit you, but choose you, stay, build, grow through the storms, and heaven heard you. Every tear, every whispered hope, every moment you chose faith over fear. And now the answer is coming. Not as lightning, not as noise, but as the quiet arrival of someone who was always meant to find you. Chosen one. Heaven wants you to know, the delay was never a rejection. It was a refinement, a preparation, a divine stretching that shaped both of you for the kind of love that does not collapse under pressure. What felt like silence was actually orchestration. What seemed like absence was hidden construction. Every unanswered question, every long night, every ache in your chest was not wasted. God was building something too deep for the surface, too sacred for early release. You both had healing to walk through on separate paths, with unseen battles. But it was all connected. Your loneliness was not proof of abandonment. It was the soil where discernment was planted. Their hesitation was not cowardice, was fear of being confronted in the presence of something real, and now something has shifted in the spirit. The season of delay has given way to divine movement. They carry regrets, yes. Regrets for not speaking sooner, for letting fear dictate silence, for missing moments they now replay in their mind over and over. But God, in His mercy, redeems even lost time. What you thought was over is not dead, it's awakening. They are being guided now, not by pride, not by impulse, but by truth. A truth that will not let them rest until it is spoken. You will feel it soon if you haven't already. A strange stillness in your soul. Not emptiness, but a sacred kind of calm. That is not a coincidence. It is heaven preparing your heart to receive what you've been promised. There will be signs, flashes of clarity, repeated numbers, unexpected waves of peace. You may even feel more emotional without knowing why. That's your spirit responding before your mind catches up. Because what is coming is not ordinary. It is a covenant-level connection. It will not leave you guessing. It will not wound your worth. It will answer the questions that once haunted you and settle the storms that once defined you. This love is not arriving to fix you, but to honor what God already made whole in the waiting. They are closer than you think. And the Spirit of God is already moving through their restlessness, through their longing, through their dreams. Your name lives inside them now, and soon their voice will carry it to you. They are watching from a distance, for now, but every moment apart is becoming harder to bear. Something inside them grows heavier with each passing day, not with guilt, but with the weight of love unspoken. And this love is no longer fragile. It has matured in silence. It has deepened in the absence. It has survived the storm of confusion and has come out purified by time and truth. What they feel for you is rare, and they know it now. Not as a fleeting emotion, but as a revelation. You were not just someone who walked into their life. You are someone their soul recognized before their mind could comprehend. Their spirit remembers you. Even in lifetimes they cannot recall, something in them whispers your name like an echo from before time. This is not just affection, this is an ancient alignment. This is the reuniting of something heaven spoke into existence long before either of you were ready to carry it. You may have doubted it at times, wondered if you were making it up, but you weren't. That pulse you felt in your chest, that sense that someone is thinking of you, that wave of emotion that rises without warning, it's them. Their heart reaches out to yours in moments when the world is still, when no one is watching, when even they don't fully understand what they're doing. It's spiritual, it's real, and it's coming closer. They are beginning to surrender to what they can no longer suppress. Their mind has tried to explain it away, but their heart has taken over. And soon, very soon, their body will follow. The message will come. The confession will leave their lips. The distance will no longer feel safe, and they will cross it, not just to be near you, but to stand before you with nothing left to hide. This isn't just about desire. It's about destiny, about obedience to something sacred they can no longer ignore. They are not coming to complete you, but to walk beside you, to hold what is holy between you and protect it. You are not their fantasy, you are their call, and when they arrive, even if their words falter, your soul will recognize the sound of home. Even before they speak, before they appear, before anything physical is set in motion, you are already feeling it, and that is no accident. The energy between you has begun to shift. This is not imagination, nor is it emotional confusion. It is spiritual alignment. Their thoughts are not just echoing in their own head, they are reaching into yours, softly, steadily, like ripples sent across the unseen. If you found yourself feeling sudden waves of emotion, moments of heaviness, bursts of longing, a strange warmth in your chest that comes and goes without reason, know this, it is them. They are thinking of you in sacred silence, sending you energy when they don't know how to send words, praying you still care, hoping you'll still receive them when the time comes. Their heart is wide open now, and what was once a guarded secret is becoming a spiritual broadcast. God is allowing you to feel the pull, not to confuse you, but to prepare you. This is how heaven softens the ground before the seed arrives. There is purpose in what you're sensing, so don't dismiss it. Pay attention. Someone may act strangely around you soon. Perhaps they'll bring a message without knowing they're the messenger. Perhaps they'll say something that lands in your soul like prophecy. These are not people to ignore. These are confirmation scariers of divine timing. The universe is already arranging the atmosphere around this love. The veil is thinner, the air feels different, the spirit is stirring the unseen into form. Even time seems to move oddly slower, faster, echoing with familiar names, songs, places. You may be drawn to open something, go somewhere, or follow a random impulse. Don't resist it. Follow. You are not being led by emotion, but by alignment. They are praying for the courage to come forward. And though fear still whispers, their soul is louder now. They no longer want to live in silence. They no longer want to wonder what could have been. They are preparing for the moment, and it is closer than either of you knows. You are not disconnected. You are not forgotten. The conversation has already begun in the spirit, in their heart, in your atmosphere. And very soon, it will take shape in words, in presence, in action. Chosen one, this is not the kind of love that begins with words. This is not the kind of story that starts in daylight. What has been growing between you and them began in silence, in shadows, in stillness that even you mistook for abandonment. But heaven was not quiet because it had forgotten you. Heaven was quiet because it was working. Something sacred has been unfolding beneath the surface. They never meant to love you. You were not part of their plan. You were not what they expected, nor were you what they thought they wanted. But what they did not know was that you were chosen by God for them and they for you. And once heaven writes a connection into the soul, it cannot be erased by denial, delay, or pride. They tried to run. They tried to ignore you. They tried to convince themselves it wasn't real. But their soul remembered. Their spirit recognized you before their mind could accept what was happening. Every time they saw you from afar and looked away, heaven recorded it. Every time you walked into a room and they pretended not to notice, you were still the center of their awareness. They watched your strength, your glow, your growth. They watched you evolve, even when you thought no one was watching. You were seen, not by their eyes, but by their soul. You see, this love did not grow out of admiration. It grew out of pain. It grew out of the way you carried yourself through heartbreak. It bloomed in the nights you cried alone and still got up the next morning. They felt your power in silence, and it did something to them. At first, they didn't know what it was, but over time, that feeling became undeniable, uncontrollable, sacred. Still, they buried it. They told no one. They smiled and carried on while hiding this fierce, quiet longing that wouldn't leave them alone. They wrote messages and erased them. They practiced conversations they never had the courage to begin. They reached for the phone and put it down. Their hands shook with words they never said. But heaven watched. God waited. Then came the dream, a holy interruption, a spiritual breaking point. They saw you walking away, not in anger, not in revenge, but in silent surrender. And the fear that flooded them when they woke up was more real than anything they had felt in years, because for the first time, they understood the pain of losing someone they never truly had the courage to claim. The day felt hollow. The world felt dull. The sound of your name echoed in their spirit like thunder across an empty sky. They tried to talk about it to a friend, to someone close, but they couldn't say your name. You are too sacred to speak of lightly. Still, their soul trembled. Still, their eyes gave them away. The friend noticed the distance, the sighs, the pauses in speech that held your memory. That friend urged them to act, to stop hesitating, to follow what they clearly felt but were too afraid to name. And God, in mercy, began to increase the pressure. They started seeing you everywhere, your name, your energy, your voice in dreams. No matter how far they ran, every road turned them back toward you. Every distraction failed. Even in a crowd, they felt alone without you. Even in laughter, your absence made everything echo with a strange emptiness. You must understand this. They have not forgotten you. They have not moved on. They have been standing still, torn between fear and destiny, between ego and surrender. But the time of stillness is ending. They are being led now, not by desire, but by divine direction. They are planning not for a performance, but for a moment when they can reach you in a way that cannot be misunderstood. A gesture, a visit, a message, a gift, something simple but heavy with meaning, something wrapped in the fingerprints of God. Before Sunday night, something will shift. The air around you will feel different. You will sense it in your body, in your spirit, in the strange calm before the storm of revelation. The spiritual veil is thinning, and what was once only felt will soon become visible. This is no longer about guessing. This is about knowing. And deep inside, you already do. Chosen one, the time for hiding is ending. Heaven has stretched this silence as long as it could, but now the weight is too much. Their soul is trembling with words that were never meant to stay trapped. They've been rehearsing for far too long how to approach you, how to explain the feeling they themselves still can't put into language. But this love has grown too large for fear. It presses against the walls of their pride and begins to shatter what once kept them distant. They are afraid, yes, but not of you. They are afraid of what this love is doing to them, how it softens what was once hardened, how it brings them to their knees without touching their skin. They fear how easily you undo them. But even more, they fear losing the chance to show you the truth. And the truth is this: their silence was not indifference, it was reverence. They didn't want to speak until they were sure they could honor what they felt. But the Spirit is calling now. Their time of delay is over. They are beginning to move not recklessly, but deliberately, faithfully, under divine pressure. They are planning to come closer in ways that may not seem obvious at first. They might send a message that looks casual but is soaked in trembling. They might appear in a space you didn't expect to find them. You might feel pulled to open something, go somewhere, respond to something that stirs your soul. Follow that pull. It's not your imagination. It's God's orchestration. Someone close to them has already sensed the shift. A friend sees their distraction. Every time your name is mentioned, even in passing, their heart visibly reacts. The sighs, the stares, the sudden silence. That friend has urged them, gently but firmly, "Don't wait, you'll regret it." And this time, they are listening. They're no longer content with loving you in secret. The shadows no longer satisfy. They want to step into the light not just with words, but with presence, with proof. They are preparing to cross a threshold publicly, spiritually, emotionally. You may not know it, but you are their turning point, their line in the sand. And they're approaching it, one breath at a time. There's a bravery rising in them now that didn't exist before. It was born in pain, forged in silence, and confirmed in dreams. They have been seeing signs. They have been encountering you even when you're not around. Songs that feel like prophecy, objects that remind them of you, sudden flashes of you in their mind when nothing should have triggered it. They've begun to realize this isn't random, this is divine. Their soul cannot forget you because it was never meant to. And now they are preparing something intentional. It may be a note they've written in private for months, a gift they chose with trembling hands, a screenshot of a memory, a folded piece of paper slipped into your hand, or perhaps just a look so full of meaning it breaks the silence without a word. Whatever form it takes, it will not be random. It will be their soul reaching for yours in full surrender. This love has never been loud, but it will be clear. When it arrives, it will not bring confusion, it will bring confirmation. You will not have to chase it, it will come freely, because it was always meant to. Before Sunday ends, there will be a moment subtle, perhaps but irreversible. You'll know it by the way your body responds. A soft rush in your chest, unexpected stillness, a tear you cannot explain. That is not emotion. That is a revelation. You are not imagining this connection. Heaven has approved it, and now earth is catching up. Prepare your heart not to beg, not to prove your worth, but to receive what God has already called yours. Chosen one, this love was never meant to follow the patterns of the world, and that is why it has taken time. That is why it has broken rules, reversed logic, and risen slowly like prophecy unfolding. The one your heart feels is not coming to repeat cycles. They are coming to end them. They are coming to heal, not harm to build, not borrow. They are shedding the patterns that kept them stuck, the masks they wore to survive, the coldness that once protected them from being hurt. And they are doing it for one reason, you. They are ready to love you in public, not just in hidden prayers and silent dreams. They are ready to stop pretending they don't care. The weight has stripped them of pride. Your presence has exposed the parts of them that long to feel safe enough to show up, and now they are finally ready to step forward, not as someone who seeks to impress you, but as someone who chooses you. You may start to notice strange things, familiar names echoing. People who remind you of them appear at unexpected moments, a soft warmth in your chest when nothing physical explains it. These are not accidents, these are shifts in the atmosphere. This is how heaven marks the moment when healing begins, first in the invisible, then in the seen. They are letting go of the people, places, and behaviors that once distracted them from the truth. The substitutes no longer satisfy. The noise no longer numbs. They are being stripped down to the most honest version of themselves, and it terrifies them. But for you, they are willing to walk through this fire. You have become their compass, their clarity, their calm. You make them want to risen not because you demand it, but because your presence calls forth something holy in them. They know your scars, they've seen your battles, and they don't pity you, they revere you. You are not broken in their eyes. You are beautiful, refined, shaped by trials, but not defined by them. You are not someone they need to fix. You are someone they long to walk with, hand in hand, heart to heart, soul to soul. This love will not make you question your worth. It will reflect it. It will not require you to shrink. It will ask you to shine. It won't rush into chaos, but move with purpose. You won't be left wondering. You will know. Because when they finally speak, it will not sound like a performance. It will sound like a soul finding home. And yes, they may cry. You may cry. But these tears will be sacred. Not sorrowful, but cleansing. Not from sadness, but from the weight that's finally being lifted. Their confession will be honest, raw, and imperfect, but it will be real. No more rehearsed speeches, just truth, trembling and holy. They have written pages never sent. Letters hidden in drawers, messages typed and deleted, pieces of themselves sealed in silence. And now, those fragments are being gathered. You may soon receive on a note, a line, a song, a photo, a symbol that unlocks everything. It will not look dramatic, but it will shake something loose inside you, because it will carry the full weight of everything they've been afraid to say. This is not fantasy. This is fulfillment. The kind of love that grows in the dark and blooms only under heaven's appointed light. They are no longer coming because they feel ready. They're coming because God has made them ready. They are not offering perfection. They are offering presence, sincerity, and peace. What is about to reach you has been shaped in the wilderness, prayed over in silence, and refined through fire. You won't need to guess. You won't need to chase. You'll only need to receive. Chosen one, you have waited with grace. You have carried faith like armor. You have loved without demanding, held your heart with reverence, and refused to beg for what God promised would come freely. The heavens saw it all. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one moment of silence went unnoticed. And now, What was only sensed in your spirit will soon stand before you, real and undeniable. This is not just someone returning. This is a soul remembering. They no longer want to love you in silence. They no longer want to rehearse emotions alone in the dark. The one heaven has been refining for you is coming not to take from you, but to honor you. They are choosing you, not as a reaction, not as a second thought, but as their only truth. You are the one they could not forget, the one they never truly left, the one they now know they were created to love. They have made peace with the past, laid down distractions, and walked away from false alignments. You are no longer a maybe. You are the answer. Their emotions have shifted from confusion to certainty. Their soul feels safest with you, even from a distance. And now, distance is no longer enough. They will show up in a way that leaves no room for doubt. Whether it's a message at an unexpected hour, a sudden appearance, or a moment of divine alignment you didn't see coming, your spirit will recognize it instantly. It may feel surreal. Time may feel distorted. You may forget where you are for a second. That's because heaven will be in the room. This isn't just the start of love, it's the end of wandering. Their voice will no longer tremble with fear, but with truth. You may not hear poetry. You may hear stumbles and broken sentences, but behind every word will be years of longing, pain, growth, and divine instruction. And when they say, "I love you," it won't sound like something new, it will feel like coming home. God has written this moment, and when it arrives, you will not need to control it. You will only need to breathe and let it happen. Let the peace rise, let the tears fall, let the walls crumble. This is not just about romance. This is restoration, redemption, a holy reversal of all that went wrong, all that was delayed, all that felt forgotten. And yes, there will be a sign music, a number, a name, a stranger's words, something small that carries eternal weight. Pay attention, because the angels are moving, the air is shifting, the veil is lifting. This Sunday night will not pass quietly. Something irreversible is coming. This is not the love you chased. This is the love that finds you when you're finally ready to receive it. This is not a dream anymore. It's arrival, it's alignment, it's heaven's whisper becoming earth's reality. Chosen one, you are not imagining this. You are not waiting in vain. You are not being overlooked. You are being prepared. Let Sunday night be sacred. Let your heart be open. Let heaven finish what it started. They are coming, and this time they stay.